Hey guys, today I'm here to film my speed reviews of all the new products I tried in April. Last month I chose to do speed reviews instead of a ranking, and I just felt like doing the same thing today. So I'm just going to be going by product category and face, eyes, lips in the order that I would apply the products. First is something that I have not used in a really long time and I wanted to just give a shout out to. I plan on mentioning it in my spring favorites, but I still want to talk about it today. I have started using Estee Lauder Double Wear again. I wear the shade 1W 1 Bone. She really is that chick because this is such a phenomenal foundation. I do think this gives medium to full coverage. I don't feel like it looks or feels heavy or cakey on my skin, and this just holds up so well on my oily skin. I have really long days sometimes and this just looks so good. And I do still get a little bit oily, but it doesn't break up my makeup, and it just, with my oils coming through, looks even more natural. I just absolutely love this, and I feel like a lot of other foundations I've used up recently, I have really enjoyed them, but going back to this, I realized like this really is my favorite. So this just felt so good to use that again. But I did also finally get around to really using a foundation that I got in PR months ago. This is the Smashbox Always On Skin Balancing Foundation. I have Fair 10W. This is too light for me, but it's a really great undertone. And this is a gorgeous medium coverage foundation that wears really nicely on me. I do get a bit more oily with this foundation than I do the Estee Lauder, but I was really impressed with this. So definitely would recommend this. And because it's so light, I could use it as a mixing foundation for products that are too dark, which I might do. But I have a couple other mixing foundations that I'd rather use in that way because their formula on their own is not my favorite. But to get use of the Smashbox when I was testing it, I was using it alongside the Drunk Elephant De-Bronzy drops, and these are actually really great. I think the consistency of this is fantastic. It didn't thin out the coverage, it didn't mess with the consistency, it just deepened the color, and I do think this is great. I did need to use a little bit more with that. The only thing I don't love about it being a squeeze tube is I feel like I'm not able to get the exact same amount of product out every time, whereas if this was in pump packaging, it would be a little bit easier to have a consistent amount of product. But I do think that this is great. I don't know that I would repurchase this. I've had this in my collection for a while and haven't used it, but I was using something else as a foundation deepener. But I do think that this is great. I did recently just buy the Physicians Formula dupe, so I'm excited to see how that compares, and I'll definitely let you know. Then I finally tried these two pot concealers, the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer and the Rem Sweetener Concealer. So I am wearing the Rem today under my foundation on my blemishes, and I do need to get a different shade. It's just a little bit too pale for me, but this does give great coverage, and I feel like the product stays in place when I'm putting my foundation on top of it. And as far as the difference between the two of these, I heard this one was more hydrating, and it might be slightly, but there's not a dramatic difference between the two of these. I have the NARS in Light 1 Chantilly, which is a much better shade match for me, and I'm gonna keep playing with them more, but I might end up returning the Rem because this is, again, a better shade. I prefer more matte products, and I have really liked the both of these for covering up blemishes, but I will tell you, I actually still prefer my Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer. It's just the liquid concealer. I love that one for my blemishes. I would love to have a pot concealer around just in case, and I'm glad I got to try the both of them, but they did not blow me away. They didn't replace my already tried and true product, but I do think that they are both nice products, and if you're looking for something like that, I think would be really great things to try out. Next, I have the Smashbox Halo Face Palette in Back to Cali. I had previously reviewed Pink Saturation, and I just ended up decluttering that one just because I didn't feel like I needed it in my collection. I'm gonna be keeping this one because these are definitely my type of shades. So the highlight is the Becca highlighter. So this is Champagne Pop, which I absolutely love. I feel like the formula is even a little bit better. It is more reflective and looks absolutely stunning. I love both of these blushes. They're matte. They are very pigmented. They're a little bit powdery, but I don't mind. And then the bronzer is actually a contour powder, and it is a little bit more sheer, which I think is good for a contour color, but for me, I would have just preferred for this to be a bronzer shade and be a little bit more pigmented. Because they are smaller pans, and especially because this one is on the edge, I feel like I have a challenging time getting my brush in there, but basically I've just had to use a different type of brush and it's worked out just fine. So I would definitely recommend these. I think that they're great quality and the shade range is really nice. They do come in 4 shades. So I wanted to report that I do really like this one. We'll be keeping this one. The formula is the same as Pink Saturation. I just like these colors a bit more. I forgot to mention this concealer. This is the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealer in Royal Icing 1.1 Neutral. This is a really good shade for me. I tried this out previously, but I didn't pick a good shade. And I feel like warm undertones are good for my face, but I prefer neutral undertones for under my eyes. And this is something that I got from Skeepers for free to review, so that was really exciting. I don't love the applicator. It is big, but it is so firm that I don't feel like you're actually getting a ton of product, and it is shaped different than the corrector applicator, which I think applied product better, but I also don't need as much of that. So I would say that this is more of like a medium coverage concealer, has more of like a natural satin finish. It is odd how this says like luminous matte, but it kind of is. It's very odd. I think this is a good concealer. It does not beat my Tarte Shape Tape, which you guys know is my holy grail. So I'll be excited to use it up and see sort of how my opinion might change as I continue to use it more. But for right now, I don't get why people are saying this is absolutely incredible. I just think it's good. Then for some eye products, first is the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Rich Romantic Palette. I have used every single shade in here. I will have all of my makeup of the days linked down below. I am behind on my makeup of the day, so all of them are not going to be posted yet, but I loved this palette. The formula is absolutely incredible and the shades are so pretty in here. I highly recommend this. None of these were duds in application. I will say though that I don't like this color Intoxicating just because it is so light that it doesn't do anything on my skin tone. For a darker skin tone, you could use it to set, but I don't know how that would look on everyone because it is like a purpley pinky tone to it. So I wish that they replaced this with like a deeper version of that color or like a different matte shade altogether. And I think then this palette would have been absolutely perfect, but all of these shades were so multi-dimensional and beautiful. The mattes were very pigmented and easy to work with. I was blown away by the formula of these matte purples because I've had such a hard time finding good quality matte purples that I'm able to work with at least. So only this palette and Kaleidos Lunar Lavender have worked well for me. So that really blew me away, but this is beautiful, adds great variety to my collection. They did a great job picking shades that were not too similar, but this is still also very cohesive. So highly recommend this palette. And then this is random, but I recently tried the Too Faced Better Than Sex Foreplay, which is their black mascara primer. And I would definitely love to hear from some of the makeup chemists on TikTok if a mascara primer, especially like a black one, is it just a mascara or is it have something in the formula that makes it more of a priming product? I would love to know, but I will tell you, I've been loving using this, especially because the Lancome mascara I'm using right now, which I reviewed last month, I'm not really enjoying very much. So this is a great first step to help like fan out my lashes, and the Lancome goes nice on top of it. I really do like this. I don't know if it is helping with any curl or longevity or anything like that, but I have been liking it a lot. I don't know if I would buy it. If it was half off, probably, but I will cross my fingers that I can get some more minis in the future. But I do think this is really nice, and I think I'd go with this over a white primer like the Lancome unless I was doing a colored mascara. Then I have a whole bunch of lip products. So first I have the 3 new shades of the Lawless Forget the Filler Tinted Balm. So you guys know I've talked about these several times in the past. I did not like these because I did not find them to be pigmented or hydrating. They are a matte balm. These shades have more pigment than the others. They're a little bit softer than the others. Still not incredibly pigmented, still not incredibly moisturizing, so I still would not reach for these as a balm, but I do like these enough to hold on to them and play with them a little bit more. This shade is Cupid, Whisper, and Amaretto. I do have a Instagram swatch video with these and the new glosses in Nudie and Maple Sugar and the re-promoted Lavender Sorbet. I've got lip swatches of these, so I will have that link down below so you can see what these look like on, and I do show you the application. So they are good, not great. Some more other random lippies. This is the Benefit Butter Balm in Secret Oasis. They had a couple different shades. I got this from TJ Maxx, and I really love the way that it looked on. It's a really pretty purpley color. It's more pigmented than you would think, but this is like a super thin formula, so it does slip slide around. I feel like it stayed on my lips fine, but this was not very hydrating. It was just like more thin. So this is something I'd say pass on. I'm glad I got it so cheap. And then we've got the Saltaire Lip Oil Balm in Dragon Fruit. This is a beautiful pinky shade. This is a little bit thicker than the Benefit, so it stays on the lips better. I do find this to be a little bit more hydrating. It has a really nice amount of pigment, but it's not so much that you have to necessarily be worried about this getting all over your face. I will enjoy using this, but I need to not buy this type of lip product anymore because it's just not my favorite. I don't like the squeeze tube applicators. I don't prefer a tinted balm. I want it to either be a clear balm or like a lipstick type of product, or jumbo lip crayon, lip oil, you know, something else. The hybrid thing is not necessarily for me, but if you were wanting to pick between the two of these, I would definitely go with Saltaire. And then some other jumbo lip crayon type of things. This first one is the Galactic Jello Gloss Balm in Barely Nude. My friend Lauren gave this to me. It's a really pretty shade. It has like a fruity scent. This does give some nice pigment. It's super glossy looking on the lips. The only thing is that this is hella messy, and I do not think that the packaging works well in that way because it's just a hot mess, which I can't stand. If this had different packaging, I think I would like it more, but I do think I will get good use out of this. It's a good formula. Then from Flower Beauty, we have the Plump Up Gloss Stick. This is in the shade Spicy. This gives a nice like light medium opacity, a little bit of shine on the lips. This is just fine, not incredible. Then we have the iconic London Melting Touch Lip Balms. I have the color Love Language. Packaging is certainly chunkier than it needs to be, so that's a bit annoying, but this is pigmented, smooth. I would say the Flower has a little bit of stickiness to it, where this one is more smooth, but not necessarily in an oily way, so I do like this formula better than Flower. And then we've got the She Glam Lip Plumper. This is in the color Pink Flamingo. This reminds me the most of the original Tarte ones, which I've only tried in sample size, but I feel like this one is more goopy than the rest. Pigmented, hydrating, but goopy. So I do not plan on buying any more of these, but if you're wanting to try the trend, they are very affordable. And lastly would be two tanning type of products that I got from Skeepers, and I was so scared to try these, but they're actually body bronzing products, not self-tanning, so they only lasted on the skin for a couple of days, and I applied these with the Real Technique self-tanning brush set, which I will have linked down below, and that worked really well. So for the Tanologist Instaglow Illuminating Face Bronzer, it comes with a pump. I just put this on the back of my hand and I applied it to my face with a stipple brush, and I just used it like I would a bronzer. I didn't do it all over just because I was scared, and it worked great. This one definitely is a bit more subtle than the body one, which is great, and it looks really pretty in the skin, faded very easily, so this was a great product. And then we have the body bronzer. So this one is more pigmented. This one has just like a squeezy tube. The texture of this one was a little bit more like creamy pigmented, and it applied to the skin really nicely. It looked beautiful. I did this at nighttime. I had zero transfer onto my clothes or my sheets, and it faded so gracefully. It wasn't patchy at all. And if you guys saw any of the videos I posted where I was wearing this, it actually did give me quite a bit of color. I tried to deepen my foundation and I didn't deepen it enough. So I was really impressed with these products. I'm definitely going to be excited to use these more when I'm wanting a little bit of color, but I'm not wanting something that might potentially not fade nicely. Like, I'm still scared to try self-tanners. This was a great like first step into that realm, but I would really, really recommend these. I was very impressed. So guys, those are my very quick thoughts on all of the new products that I tried this month. I would love to hear your thoughts if you have tried any of these, and I would love to know what new things did you try this month and what were your thoughts on them. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.